Just wanted to run through a few items in the book cabinet, which, as people would tell you, I'm a bit of a hoarder, and so was my father. So when he passed away, some of the gems that were released back to me, which I'm sure I would have looked after, but going through a divorce and things like that doesn't help. Anyway, my dad kept most of my stuff, pristine condition, and this one I want to share with you. It's called CHUMS. It's a 1978 compilation of all the old penny dreadfuls. This one devoted to a comic called CHUM, which lived from 1878 through to just after World War II, before pressures of finance caused it to collapse. But it was in great competition with lots of other already established comics at the time. And why am I showing you this? Well, this one was presented to me in 1981 by a group of people called the Colonials, which was a subsect of the brigade squad at the time that I was lucky to be invited onto to be the driller, drill and weapons instructor under Sergeant BRG Maxie MacDonald, Scots Guards. Our platoon commander at the time was the adjutant of the depot, then Captain Sebastian Roberts, and many of the names that I read out, which are only a few of the course, went on to become all sorts of great people in their own right, whether in civilian life or in the military. At the moment in our HQ for Scots Guards we have Mr. Nickerson, who's Brigadier, so he's also the Senior Lieutenant Colonel of the Foot Guards as it stands at the moment with that rank. Very proud, and this is some of the names I'll read out who gave it to me. Excuse me for putting on my bins. Brian Eager, with many thanks for all your kind assistance during Brigade Squad 30, from Charles O'Reilly, Mick Campbell-Langton, James Marnon, Hugh Howard-Allen, Nick Harley, Matthew Rudd, Jeremy Harris, Guy Varney, Mike Moriarty, Marcus Scriven, Eddie Edmonston, Chris Atkins, Charles Naggs, Harry Nickerson, the Colonials. And the book is littered with yarns and tales, and I think maybe the reason that they got me this, there's a funny side story about gifts that are given to squad instructors. I remember Maxie, who took this brigade squad, telling me about a colour sergeant role in Sandhurst when all the foreign students wanted to buy all sorts of things for the squad instructors, and they would ask other squad instructors what the person they were trying to buy the item for would like. I.e., you wouldn't go up to the person himself and say, what would you like? You would ask someone else surreptitiously around and out of earshot of the squad instructor you were meaning to buy the gift for. So it was a surprise on the night. And so one of the other squad instructors said, oh, well, he likes suits. Oh, what suit would he like? Oh, he's into pinstripe at the moment. Pinstripe would be probably good for Maxie. So away they go, bearing in mind they're foreign students. And the night of the presentation and the pass out is quite a thing at Sandhurst, as you can imagine. Well, I think it's called the Sovereign's Parade. And they call all the instructors across, and one by one they give them their gifts, and there's all sorts of things like Omega Chronomasters and all things that you could imagine foreign students wanting to buy to show their goodwill. And then Maxie is summoned across, and they offer up this box about this size to him. Take the lid off, and there on top is this pinstripe material, and he then picks it up to look at it, and it goes zig 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 zig, and it's an Egyptian set of pajamas in pinstripe. So you can never know what you're going to be given on one of these farewell to arms parade, especially by brigade squad, because they have brains, all of them, as I've shown by reading the names out, have all gone and done well. So my little bit of fun, I think, a poke in the eye was I was always telling stories, especially on Thetford, or coming out with funnies on the drill, and you do become an attachment to them, something they look at in later life and say, oh, how would this have done, how would this have been dealt with, etc. And I used to give them a lot of inspirational stories, which were half made up and half true. So I end up now getting a book about things like the Iron Pirate, stories about the boy spy for Germany, bringing up the guns at Balaclava, and all these stories that are in here. The council schoolboy. So this is very much, I mean, if you imagine 1878 through past World War One, what urban scroty council boy would even be able to buy this comic, this penny special? No one. So it was really the preserve of people that were affluent, from good families, and those that were privileged, really. So a lot of the stories interested them about people coming up from the bottom and doing well, because generally, whatever we say about the upper class, they do like to promote and mentor, is probably a better word, those below them, and long may that continue in the British system. So these stories were an echo, really, of things that maybe these boys' parents were doing at the time, giving to charity, etc., etc. Now, it's a lot more than that, though. I mean, there's one particular section here, some of the gifts that they used to give out, and you've got to remember this was going back in some cases to turn of Queen Victoria's century. And they've asked here, there's a picture of a driverless tram car in the street, and it's just at a set of junctions, and there's a boy on a point switch, which means he's got the decision to make whether it will go right or whether it go left. And it says, what would you do, it says, and I'll read out. Should the boy at the switch send the runaway car into the second trolley car, which waits on the loop line, so causing a collision which will have fearful consequences, or shall he let the runaway car take its course and see his only daughter, who lays across the rails having fallen off her bicycle, helpless? What would you do? And it says 100 guineas and 255 shilling postal orders offered in a competition in this week's Cassell's Saturday Journal. So this is an advert for another penny dreadful, the Cassell's Saturday Journal, in CHUMS, and it's offering up, well, then, a staggering sum of money, a guinea, pound and a shilling. So 21 shillings was another way of saying a guinea. And that was literally buy you maybe 2 bicycles, 3 bicycles. So it was a sum of money you would want to win for your family. A free-wheel bicycle, if you send us in a postcard, we will select. 1 guinea's worth of books. Or runners-up will receive a CHUMS badge. Absolutely fantastic tales in here. There's a boxing thing about some young oiks that were in a boxing club, and then Chinese, because China at the turn of Victoria's century, 1900, 1899, 1900, China was a big issue. I mean, we were selling them opium. At that time, it was like smoking. We didn't realise the consequences of it, but it was used in propaganda by the communists who took over China. You know, the imperialists were just trying to drug us and keep us subdued and all that sort of stuff. And a lot of the stories in here from that period are Fu Manchu type stories, you know, and you read them, they're absolutely well written. You couldn't ask for a, you know, just 15-minute story, boom, and you walk away from it and you're buzzing and you know more because it's all based on truth. None of this is, I mean, even the boy that spied for Germany in the naval dockyards, World War One, it's based on half-truths. So everything around it is correct. It's just obviously names and some other secret issues not wanting to be communicated are left out. Because there was an interest in those times in photography, there was often some things like this is the 20 best known radiators of automobiles. So you look here and you see all the classic grills from things Strange, Delaney, Belleville, Talbot, Dulac, Sunbeam, Morris Cowley, Ariel Johnston, Oldsmobile, Anglo Sand Throne, Armstrong Siddeley, Humber, Daimler, Rolls-Royce, Napier, Austin and Ford. Don't look like that nowadays, does it? So, I'm so pleased my dad kept this book. My dad passed away 2008. It's taken me a long time to get all the effects that I want over to here. A lot of stuff was trashed as well when my mother went into residential care. My sister, bless her, Betty, went up and saved so much that was just junked into the middle of the living room floor. My parents' home from 1977 through to 2011 was in North Wales. Not my location, but the location I used to have to travel back to because that's where my parental home was. Now you drive past and someone else is living in it who you don't know, and the memories bounce back, and you've got to get a check on them. You've got to control them. And these are some ways of doing it. This connection brings me to Maxim MacDonald, brings me to all of the Brigade Squad boys, not just the colonial subsection that were in this, and my father for keeping the book. I found a letter which I put on Facebook the other day from a London Officer Training Corps Lieutenant Colonel to our battalion Lieutenant Colonel Henry Wilson. Thank you very much for allowing Captain Mickey Morrissey and Sergeants Eager, Kay and Murphy to be members of the board which examined our second year officer cadets. And with that, I put it up. Someone straight away said, Davey Hyde said, I remember preparing that. That was the copy. I put your name. That's my writing at the top, blah, blah, blah. So these things might mean not a lot to many people, but it hits the nerves, brings back memories, and, it's like everything. You can either have good memories or you can have bad memories. You can filter them out. You can chuck away or stow in a kit bag and put up in the attic the ones you don't like. And I've got a few. I could tell you about on another film. And there's also good things which people want to hear about. And this is one of them. So for all you boys, Brigade Squad 30, that are looking at this or get to hear about this, thank you very much. This was 1981 when you presented it to me. I've been through a lot, and this book is still in pristine condition, and I love reading it, and it means so much to me. Ciao.